The internet can be a beautiful place to learn, grow, and connect, but it also has its dark sides. In this video, I explore the act of cyberbullying and its prominent rise in our digital age, seeing just how it affects the youth of today and their adolescent lives. Since the internet is virtually open to everyone and offers relative anonymity, online communities can be a breeding ground for negativity. From sending mean, vile messages to sharing embarrassing pictures or photos, cyberbullying is rife out there, happening on a daily basis, everywhere and anywhere. The thing that makes cyberbullying so dangerous is that it can really be hard to escape from it. If someone is bullying you online, even if you disconnect, these days with everything being so connected, trails of your identity are left behind like breadcrumbs, and this makes you vulnerable to attack. With everyone relying on technology to communicate, socialize, and express their feelings, cyberbullying, as the name implies, has grown to be a real issue that is affecting many people, especially adolescents. Beyond just calling someone a bad name, cyberbullying in the digital age can manifest in many forms. It is not just about verbally assaulting someone online, but online bullying can include the following. Doxing, which is publicly revealing private personal information about a person or an organization. Catfishing, which is pretending to be someone that you're not, perhaps going as far as identity impersonation. Harassing, which is verbally abusing someone with malicious messages. Threatening, which is to send or receive death threats and other intimidating messages. Stalking, which is disparaging and continuously harassing a specific user endlessly. And canceling, which is trying to get someone fired, cancelled, or banned from somewhere, something that's really prevalent in the modern social media landscape. While cyberbullying has existed since the advent of the internet, this issue has only gone worse over the ages. Besides the fact that it's a whole lot easier to bully someone online than in person, the rise of cyberbullying seems to be a natural byproduct of the times we live in, especially in a social media-driven, post-pandemic world. For one, anonymity and lack of responsibility makes people behave in whatever way they wish. We all hide behind the digital mask when online, guarded by this terminal identity. As such, we're detached from the person on the other side, as the individual responding back is nothing more than lines of text. The digital world we interface with feels less real, thus giving people more mental wiggle room to be mean, and perhaps expressing negative thoughts or feelings more freely. Humans are also spending a lot more time online. People do not go out as much anymore. Instead, we do everything from the inside, oftentimes online. The world has changed into a much more digital-centric one, especially after the pandemic. Due to this, there is an increase in screen time usage. Ever since the smartphone, we've all become stuck to these screens, and there is plenty of evidence that shows that this single act itself can cause a myriad of mental and emotional issues. Due to being online more, as well as the pandemic, people have become a lot more isolated as well. When people are stuck inside for too long, they experience what is known as cabin fever, a concept we explore deeper in another video. This series of negative feelings that rush through are plenty, from demotivation to depression. This increased isolation can turn even the nicest people into grumpy, malicious monsters. Also, a byproduct of being socially isolated is an increase in stress and anxiety. When people are stressed out, they become anxious, and as a result, this can put people on edge. This is especially the case when we're consuming negative news all the time, from a never-ending pandemic to an ongoing war. Things can seem hopeless, and as such, hostility towards others increases as a means of self-preservation. There is also a decreased supervision of the youth. While grown adults are definitely guilty of sending malicious messages to others, a lot of cyberbullying is prominent among teens and young adults. Since life gets so busy, many parents leave their children unattended when using a tablet or smartphone, and frankly speaking, it'd be impossible to keep tabs on them anyway. Anyone who has fallen into a rabbit hole on YouTube or Instagram knows that the internet can expose you to an array of content that might not be the best influence on young teens and children, thus resulting in a generation of desensitized youth. Although this might not seem hard to digest for some people, a lot of the time cyberbullying may just come out of pure boredom. The act of trolling is commonplace online, and for many of us who have grown up digitally, this behavior can come so second nature that it may not even be seen or perceived as cyberbullying. Moreover, young people of the modern day go out far less than any other generation. This fuels a sense of boredom, which is triggered from the need to seek attention from somewhere and someone. Finally, as much as we'd like to believe that everyone can understand our inner intention, the truth of the matter is most people can't, even when we're physically present. This issue of miscommunication and misconstruing messages becomes even more prevalent when it's just reading a bunch of text from words. The issue of cyberbullying runs rampant and is affecting mental health of the youth. According to a study, 1 in 5 children from the ages of 10 to 18 has been a victim of cyberbullying. The reason for this is that these behaviors tend to happen on social media platforms, with the majority of the cyberbullying reported to be found on platforms like YouTube, followed by Snapchat and TikTok. Another reason why cyberbullying continues and persists is that oftentimes it's left unnoticed. Children do not express or share the assault they receive online with friends or family because they're often scared of the consequences that might occur, whether that be having their device taken away or restricted from going online entirely. As Catherine Siegfried Speller, an associate professor in computing and information technology at Purdue University, has stated, children are afraid of being victims of cyberbullying and how parents and teachers will react to knowing this fact. They're afraid they'll take the technology away from them. Linda Sharmaraman, director of the Youth Media and Wellbeing Research Lab at the Wellesley Centers for Women, discovered that as toxic as social media may seem, many teens actually use it as a way to send and receive emotional support. For a lot of us these days, smartphones and online communities are a way to feel connected and have a sense of belonging. This is even more so for the youth of the digital age. If we take away these devices, they may feel even more alone. While there is no surefire solution to completely stop cyberbullying, we can take a couple of steps to combat it. For one, we can identify and report the cyberbully. A lot of the social media platforms aim to help protect people from cyberbullying, although it can be tough to cater to billions of people around the world. Nevertheless, you should do what you can to collect evidence of your cyberbullied experience and report that user. Secondly, speak to your loved ones. Don't be embarrassed to share your experiences and feelings of being cyberbullied. Sometimes, talking about an issue with someone else can shine light on how to handle it. Finally, while it can be tough to look at a cyberbullied experience as positive or anything light of that, just remember and realize that oftentimes, any bully, online or offline, are lashing out because they themselves may be deeply unhappy or alone. In the end, people that are truly happy and fulfilled have no reason to act out in malice. Instead, oftentimes, truly content people want to just spread love. So although it can be hard, learn to sympathize at the reality of your cyberbully situation and realize it's nothing personal. For anyone experiencing the act of cyberbullying, I hope this video helps you feel less alone and understood. To help guide you in the right place, I've inserted a couple of useful links to help centers of popular social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok down in the description box below. While it's not easy to admit you've been hurt, it's important to share your experience and do what you can to prevent it from happening again. This is especially true as we all stay inside a bit more and spend our time staring at a screen longer. If you're feeling a lot more anxious these days, you might be suffering from something called cabin fever, as I mentioned earlier in the video. To learn more about what that is, make sure to watch the next video.